Hello, how are you doing? Hello and welcome. Happy Friday, first of all, and welcome to tonight's live stream, which I'm very excited to talk to you about. Very relevant, and my intention is to help you really get unstuck today. So before we begin, I'm going to just introduce myself quickly for those of you who are new to my page. So I'm Marie Fleming Grant, and I'm founder of the Awake Revolution, and I'm all about the inner work, the absolute transformational journeys and work with people. So I'm very much here to help you drop the baggage, wake up the real you, and completely revolutionize how you think, feel, live, and create. And especially with what's going on in the world right now, there is more of a need for us to be living very aligned lives and really, really moving ahead with what we wish to create in our lives. So one of my missions, I have a few, is to really help and assist you in creating the transformation, whatever you want to create in your life. I'm a huge believer. I've overcome many obstacles in my own life, so I'm really fired up to help you create your own transformations, and this is what I'm all about. So today I really want to talk to you about how to work out what's actually holding you back when you know what you want but still can't quite get yourself to do it or stick to it. So this is a really common issue that I've dealt with in my own life, and business over the last few years, and it's something that comes up in my clients and people that I connect with in my Facebook community group, and really kind of a lot of human beings in general. So this live stream is for you it's particularly for you if you're working on whatever it is, whatever transformation. Could be in your personal life, it could be in your business, it could be, whatever area, money, clients, business building, creativity in general, whatever the area, relationships, anything that you're looking at changing, is that you know what you want, but it's just you still can't quite get yourself to do it. So there's something like, what is holding you back? So I'm a big believer in doing kind of two things at once, is to really do the inner work, the inner transformation, and at the same time take action. Because what a lot of people end up doing, and I've done this myself in the past, is to really do loads of inner work, like loads and loads, it's like never ending. But then you're not really then taking the action in your life, in your business, in your creativity. And this is what can really hold you back. So I want to kind of really maybe get like a journal out if you feel like really like getting into this live stream, or you can just sit and listen. If you don't want to take notes, that's totally fine. But I really want to just take you through almost like a bit of a roadmap as to like, let's look at how to work out, first of all, what is actually holding you back. Because once you shine a light on it and you can see, and this is what I do constantly for myself, you can absolutely see, this isn't working for me. This is the area that is holding me back. Okay, that's half the battle. And then you can do what you need to do to move yourself forwards. Because most of the time people get really stuck on, I don't even know what's holding me back. Like, I don't even know what my own problem is, right? And believe me, I've been there, and I've done so much work on this. And I've basically created like a kind of transformational model off the back of it, because I know that this is the piece that keeps people so stuck. So I really want to just kind of talk you through like moving through this, so you kind of come away from today's live stream really kind of knowing, right? That's the first step, knowing, this is what's holding me back. Okay, now we've shone a light on it, now you know where to focus your efforts, right? Because that's where people, and I've done this myself, spent so long trying to work it out. So before I get into it, I'll just explain as well that, and also say hi if you're watching live here, because I'll just see if I can see the comments. Feel free to drop a comment live, and also if you're watching the replay, because I'll check back in as well. But when people get stuck and they don't know what like why they're not moving forwards in the thing that they want to create change in, usually people fall into two camps, and this is what I've observed, and I've done both myself. So I always speak like not with judgment or criticism, but just from, I totally get what it feels like to walk this path. So people tend to either, if they get stuck, they either push themselves and whip themselves and hustle and force themselves to get out there and do the thing, or get up and do the thing that they are struggling with. And that really doesn't last too long, because eventually your energy just won't sustain it, or the thing that was really holding you back is going to start to rear its head, right? So that doesn't really work. Of course, there are certain times when that does work, because that's exactly the thing that was holding you back, and you've taken action. So this is why it's about really working out your own unique kind of what is going on for you, which I'm going to take you through now. And then apart from the push through, the other side of that is when people, when you get stuck, you can go the other way. So you recognize that it's an inner job, but then what a lot of people do is they go into their their soul alignment pieces, and they start to work on themselves, and they look at their triggers and all of that, and then they kind of connect with the spirituality side of creativity, which I'm all about. But what they then do is they just do that, and nothing really changes, right? So they're not out there taking the action, and there's a lack of physical action taking. So just recognize as you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to this, first of all, do you identify with one or the other right now? Because it might be that you're doing one of those more than the other, and maybe some of you are not. But just to recognize, because I've definitely had times in my life, I've done them both. I've done all the like manifesting and journaling and visualizing, and didn't take a damn action step in my business, right? And then wondered why things weren't changing. And then I also did the other way of absolute pushing myself, forcing myself to do things and take action, but they really weren't in alignment. And I had to really go away and think about that. And I also spent a hell of a lot of money on lots of programs teaching me the strategy, when for me personally at that time, it wasn't the thing that I needed. And I know that there are so many people, I've had so many conversations with people over the years of having spent so much money on the sort of the wrong aspect. So as I say wrong, I'm going to use it very lightly, because on a spiritual level, of course, there is no wrong. It is all experience. But when we're talking about really moving forwards, we can use these words, right? So we kind of all understand what they mean. So it's really, so the way I want to take you through kind of like how to work it out, what is actually holding you back. So at least you know, first of all, what it is. And then secondly, what kind of thing that you might be looking for next when you're looking to change something within yourself, right? Because if you're in the kind of personal development world and you've been working on yourself for some time, there are plenty of people offering plenty of different things. And it can be very tempting to sign up to that next program, sign up to that next course, and it's not the thing that you need, right? So this is my intention for you today, to really kind of come away with a real like light bulb moment saying, oh yeah, this is what's holding me back. And also it might just be confirmation of what you already know, because a lot of you are going to know the kind of thing that's really holding you back, but maybe you're not ready to look at it. You're just kind of playing safe and going over here. Again, I did this as well. So this is my intention for today. So do drop me a comment below if you're watching now or in the replay, just to sort of check in and see which way do you lean more towards. Are you more the do action, and you haven't checked in enough maybe? Or is it more you're doing all the checking in and you're kind of very comfortable with that, but you know that you're not really taking the action? And how I see myself is a bridge, and I love both sides. So I used to be a lawyer, so I have that very practical, grounded mindset and methodology and approach, but I'm also a channel. I'm a conscious individual, so I have that way. I have my divine connections as well, and I work as an activator on a soul level. So I love the integration of soul alignment and real practical in the world action. So this is my approach. So stick around on this page if this is the kind of the vibe that you love, because this is what I'm very much about. And I talk about both, but it's all about integration. So let's just get into it. It's not going to be like a massively long live stream. So I'm going to just take you through this like kind of 5 aspects. There's 5 aspects that I've identified in myself, in everyone I've ever worked with. And no matter what the issues are, it's always these 5 aspects that come up. So I'm just going to take you through them, and just allow yourself to just open your mind and just receive what you need to receive. Notice any kind of things that jump out at you when I'm speaking, because I'm really just talking to you and your soul. Your soul already knows what you need to do next. So everything that I'm sharing, you already have this inside of you, and your soul absolutely knows. It's more allowing your mind and your conscious self to catch up and align with your soul, align with your higher self. So I'm just here to activate it, open you up to it, but you already know. This is my approach, and I'm really speaking to you on a soul level. So with that in mind, if you've just joined, you might just want to watch the first 10 minutes because I kind of covered sort of the pieces leading up to this, but absolutely carry on watching. It's lovely to have you here. Drop a comment below to say hi if you feel so inclined. So let's go to it then. So how to work out what's actually holding you back. So I'm going to talk you through the 5 aspects. So the number one thing that we want to be doing when we're trying to change or transform anything is to get into a real soul aligned place. So the first step is very much tuning into yourself. And before you even make the decision to go out and change something, or maybe it's your health and fitness, it's your relationships, it could be your business, creativity, something that you're changing and transforming, we want to make sure that it's very aligned for you. So it's not coming from your head, oh, wouldn't this be great because everybody else has it? But it's coming from a much deeper place that you know that you came here for this aspect, right? So as I'm talking, just tune in, bring to mind whatever it is that you're focusing on in your life right now, what it is that you would like. Feel free to drop it below, what your area is that you're working on, and just checking in that it's absolutely soul aligned. So one of the examples, what did I do? So I was on, I think I did a course, this was like years ago, and I did a course and it was showing me about how to like launch programs and things, right? And it was talking about taking one program and then replicating it and just selling that one thing and sticking with the one thing. So I tried it for a little bit. This was about 5 years ago. And I was like kind of working hard, and something was holding me back. It wasn't lifting off. And when I tuned into myself, like the penny dropped, and I tuned into myself, I realized that wasn't really soul aligned for me. Even if it worked for those people, what I wanted really on a soul level was variety and like reaching different types of people and creating all different kinds of things. So it's really important to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, just checking in that it's really soul aligned. And there's many things you can do around that to kind of work on that. But just as a very great way to start, is it soul aligned? How do you know? How do you know if it's soul aligned? Well, it's coming from a very deep place. And a great question is, like, is it really up there? Is it really up there? Like, if you knew that you could, if you were going to live the rest of your life without ever having this thing in your life, how would you feel? So for certain things, I'd be saying to myself, well, I kind of like that, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't do that particular thing. Okay, so maybe that's a preference, maybe that's not. But there are certain things for me, like I'll share one now. It's like writing a book, which I am just starting to really take off with. I'll share that another time. If I ask myself, okay, well, how would I feel if I never got around to writing that book and I never brought that into my life, into my business? How would that feel? And to me, that feels like absolutely non-negotiable, ridiculous, a massive regret. Like I'd already regret it before I've like left this current lifetime, right? So that for me is a real soul-aligned goal. I'm not a fan of the word goal, but we can use it. So that's how I know it's soul aligned. It's absolutely part of my soul contract to write a book, probably several books. It's absolutely part of my soul contract to work with people, programs, services, one-to-one, whatever. Those are things that they're non-negotiable. So really check out with yourself, is this thing that you're trying to get yourself to do? Because it's going to take you, you're going to have to like check back into this soul alignment, like conviction in yourself to sustain these big changes and transformations, right? So that's number one. So this could be the missing thing that's holding you back. But if it's not, and you've got that, great, tick it off. So that's on track for you. Okay. So the second piece, I can't see any comments. So if anyone's commenting, I will check back later because sometimes it's a little bit slow. Okay. So the second piece is looking at the story in your mind. So this is all about, and you're probably really familiar with this part of it, is the mindset piece. And this is all around the thoughts that you're having around what you're doing, and the patterns that are showing up in your behavior and the beliefs that you're holding. So these thoughts, patterns, beliefs, the way I see them, is like a cluster and they all interact with each other. So this is the part, and this is a really common one. This is probably going to impact you on some level It might not be the whole piece, but it's probably going to be a piece. And this is one of the common ones that hold people back. But we need to shine a light on it to know that it is, right? Because sometimes how this shows up, imagine if you're aligned with what you're doing, absolutely. You feel good about it, you're doing it, you're taking all the action, and it's not really happening because deep down there's a belief, right? Deep down there's a thought or lots of thoughts, and there's a belief there, and there's a vibrational kind of energy that goes with this, that maybe you don't really deserve it, or maybe that it's not possible for you, or whatever the kind of hidden, sometimes they're conscious and sometimes they're very unconscious. So a lot of this, if you're not aware of them, they're going to be there. There's nothing to worry about, nothing to be scared about. It's just a human condition. It's just living on this planet for X amount of years. You're going to be picking up beliefs, thoughts. So this is why we've got to really often, not always, not for everything, but often we've got to really do some level of programming, reprogramming ourselves to counter those very old core beliefs. So think about this, whether this is a good one to look at if you really, it's like you're in a mystery of why the hell are things not changing? Why can't you do the thing? Like, why can't you stick to it? Why can't you just can't seem to get yourself to start it or finish it or stick to it? It's likely to be, could be any of these, but this is probably going to play some level of it. So again, we're just shining a light on, it could be something to do with my thinking, my beliefs, patterns as well. When I say patterns, it's our pattern of behavior. So as a result of how we think, we develop behavioral patterns. And sometimes we have like, one of mine was always perfectionism, right? And it's very common, very common. We get into, say, a perfectionist pattern, and our behavior is so concerned with getting it right and perfect that we hold ourselves back from actually taking the action and doing it, right? Because we're afraid of, oh, what if it goes wrong? What if we don't succeed? What if we fail? Like, that's the worst thing in the world, right? For our mind, it's like a death. So this is a real kind of area, and it's likely that you'll be having some level of this, which is why the mindset work is really, really important, because without that, you've got to strengthen your mind constantly, right? I'm doing it now with things I'm doing. I can have a very rock solid, confident belief in myself around the thing that I'm doing. And then maybe sort of 2-3 days in, it starts to shake a little bit and it starts to maybe waver a bit. So then I come back in and reprogram myself, and I keep feeding my mind with these messages. I reprogram myself, do it on a very deep level as well. So it's something that I'm repeating like a muscle, and the more I do it, the stronger my mind gets, the stronger my like thoughts and my beliefs about myself and my abilities get. And it's something that you can cultivate. So this is probably, even if you've got some of the other ones going on, this is likely to be showing up somewhere, because this is the human condition. This is like, there's no escaping this. And it's at every level. It's not just when you're starting out. You could be very highly successful in a part of your life, and then going to the next level will bring this in, or being successful in one area and then trying to, shake up another area of your life. This might come in there. So just keeping this in mind. So we've got the soul alignment piece, and then we've got the mindset, thoughts, patterns, and beliefs. And all of these are common, but sometimes we don't know that we're doing them. Okay, so the third piece is the emotional piece. And this is the one that's maybe the hidden one. I think that's maybe the hardest one, maybe for some people, to see, because this is really about getting your emotional state in alignment again with what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to, I'm going to use business as an example, but you can use this in any area. So like I'll share what happened with me with visibility, because visibility doing live streams was a huge journey for me in my business. So it's like, let's say I was trying to do live streams, and I got my mindset on board. It was aligned for me to do it, and I was taking the action. But emotionally, it was just feeling like every time I pressed live, it was like, I don't know, like I was being murdered. I was like, so I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I used to sit here and not press live. Like my hands would sweat, and I'd be like, my heart would be racing. I'd be so self-conscious. I felt like everything was like gonna close in on me. It was a real problem. It was such a journey I've been on, this whole visibility to be doing what I'm doing now, right? And I remember just sitting there feeling really awful. And I had to do like quite a lot of emotional release work around that. And it was to do with my own like levels of self-worth, my own levels of self-esteem, how I felt about myself. And then of course it brought up triggers from the past. And we often don't link that, right? So we're responding emotionally from things that happened in the past. So to ignore our emotions is to ignore this huge piece of ourselves. And then the other part of this, kind of working out what's holding you back, it might be how you really and truly feel about something in your life or about something within yourself. And the reason this is such a sticking point is that the law of attraction has been very distorted, and what it's done is led a lot of people up the garden path. So pop me a comment below if this resonates with you now or on the replay, where you've had this mindset of being really positive. You know about beliefs and mindset, right? You get the part that I just spoke about. So you're focused on that, and then you've become so scared to even feel anything remotely like less than positive. Maybe you feel fear about something in your business or your life. Maybe, you know, you feel like really scared or really like just whatever the icky feeling is. And what you do is you shut it down and you try and like laser focus on positivity. And that's the piece, that's a really juicy piece. And it tripped me up for years because I read this secret years ago, like, God, like 2005 or something, I can't remember. And I really took it on board because I was naturally a positive person. So anything that happened to me in my life, I do a spin and say, oh, you know, oh, I've had a trauma. Oh, okay, well, at least I've learned something really great, which was true, but I bypassed all of my feelings. Why? Because I was shit scared if I was going to feel sad or angry or anything other than love and light. I was going to manifest it. So that is a huge piece that holds a lot of people back. And I just want to share with you now, if this is you, and I share this constantly in sessions when I work with people, it is okay to acknowledge how you feel. If you feel scared, if you feel unsure of yourself, if you feel like angry about something or just like low or fed up or frustrated or whatever the human emotion is, what holds people back a lot is that they put it in a box, they put a lid on, and they pretend that it's not there. And even though they're being positive and positive and positive, the universe is responding to you vibrationally, and this is the vibration you're holding anyway. So the fact that it's there and that we actually are going to give it a little bit of time to process, release, heal, whatever you need to do, is not creating or manifesting. It's actually helping you create and manifest what you do want. So I just want you to flip that around in your mind if you need to, right now, right here in this moment, because I have a real thing about this. I think a lot of teachers have really distorted that. The way that the law of attraction works, it is a real law, it's a universal law, but it's really, really distorted, and people are getting so afraid of getting angry and being real. And that is the liberation. That is how you bust through some of that old crap that you're holding. Sometimes we got to face it. And this is a lot of what I do with people, as well as the mindset and the soul alignment piece. So just take a moment just to see. And a good check-in is just to see where you are with emotions. Do you feel okay with being angry, sad, low, or do you try and pull yourself out of it very quickly? Just observe yourself and notice, because this might be the area, one of the areas for you. That's a big one. Okay, and then the fourth one is the one that is probably like the one that most people try and do naturally, is the action. Or it might not be for some of you. So this is where we're actually, it's the action that, or the lack of action, that's holding us back. So sometimes imagine you have the alignment in place, you've got all the mindset, thoughts, patterns, beliefs all solidified and strong, and you've got your emotional states all kind of like nice and like strengthened, and you've mastered those, and you know how to move through, and you know how to use your emotions and leverage them all to create what you want, but you're not taking any action. that's the piece for you, right? So that will be where you need like a real loving kick up the arse to actually do the things. Because even if you understand about law of attraction and manifesting and even creating with flow, we don't have to work ourselves to the ground anymore. That's the old paradigm. It isn't the harder you work, the more money you make. That's an old paradigm. It is about working smarter, yes, with alignment, and you're backing your energy, but it's still about taking action. So for me, it's very much about aligned action, not just any old bullshit action for the sake of it. So it's about checking to see, is this the piece that's holding you back? Perhaps it's either that you're doing a lot of action and maybe it's not aligned, or you're not doing just any, you're not taking the action. And if you're not taking the action, then what we do is we'd go back to the last this previous piece on the mindset and start looking at what are the beliefs, and then we'd also look at the emotions, like what is the feelings around that. Why aren't you taking the action? Because if you dig deep, you'll always find a reason. But it's important for especially those of you who are very big on the inner work and you already understand the power of it. Sometimes what we do, and I've done this before, is to decide to take action. And I'll share one again of mine, because it was on the visibility. I used to say, right, I'll do a live stream. I'm going to do a live stream in my group in 2 days, right? And I'd decide. And then when it came around to it, this was a good few years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. It would come around, and then I'd notice myself and I'd feel really tense and stressed and like freaking out, like sweating, didn't like the idea of going live. And then I used to convince myself, oh, it's not an aligned thing. I did a lot of deceiving myself. I used to say, oh, it's not aligned for me because I'm feeling these feelings, and it doesn't feel like in the flow. So I'm just going to like release myself from being out of flow, and I won't do this live stream. And I had to call bullshit out on myself, because I realized after a while that's bullshit. And also, what a great way to avoid taking action. So continuously calling yourself out on your bullshit with love is a great strategy to really help yourself move forward. And I don't mean with criticism. It's really important not to do it that way, but really being able to take a look at yourself and call yourself out. So, I had to remind myself that sometimes taking action and doing a big transformation, because that's what we're here for, right? Really to shift things, is going to require us to feel really uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable sometimes, but we've just got to face it and do it anyway. Why? Because as long as it is absolutely soul aligned for us to do that, right? So again, all these pieces work together, see? So we'd be checking, is it soul aligned? Yes, it is, really, because like, for example, my business, I was like, it's soul aligned for me to make an impact and reach people. So of course it's soul aligned to be doing live streams, because I like talking and I like sharing my message. It's just my fear getting in the way. So had to kick my own ass on that, and it paid off, because now I'm here and I'm really I still get, sometimes I get a little bit, oh, I'm going to talk about this topic, but generally I'm good at doing it. But it's really because I've practiced, and it's because I just kept coming back. Like, I've done live streams, there's a couple of you online here, I think I can't see who, but I can see there was a couple of people here. But I've done loads of live streams when nobody showed up. And I know that when I put this out, people will watch the replay like later, maybe in 3 months from now. It doesn't worry me. I just know my message is out there. Whoever's supposed to see it is going to see it. But back then, sometimes I'd do a live stream and no one would show up, and then no one really watched the replay, and it was kind of just very quiet. But it was, it was something I had to keep moving forwards and taking the action on. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. So I've done it again on exercise. Started an exercise back into kind of working out again, and I just had taken a massive break, and I really felt with all the energies I needed to move my body. And so I had to kind of kick my own ass a bit, because I knew it was soul aligned. I absolutely knew it was. My mindset was, I was on board with it. I felt good about the idea, but it was just the action. It's like, I have to just get myself to start for 10 minutes, and then it was okay. And then it was practice. So it might be the action that you're lacking. That's the thing that's really holding you back. So I'm just going to call you out on it if that's the case. But it could be for you that you're taking too much action. All you're doing is taking the action and you're exhausted. And actually for you, it's the time to step back and really go within and start checking in, because you might have outgrown some of the things. You might not be aligned anymore. And some of you are maybe taking the right amount of action and it feels just about right, but it's not. It just needs a bit of tweaking, and it just needs to be brought back more into the aligned action, not just action for the sake of taking action. So it's a really juicy topic, right? But when we put them all together, really powerful way to transform and to work it out, like what is the piece. And then the fifth piece, the kind of final piece of this sort of model that I like to use, is the enjoyment, the energy behind it. You could be aligned on what you're doing, totally part of your soul mission while you're here. You could have your mindset around it, you believe in it, you're fully backing yourself, your thoughts are supporting it, your mindset, your beliefs are there, your patterns are supporting you as well, your behaviors. You're emotionally feeling good about it. There's nothing triggering you, there's nothing coming up around it. You're good with that. You're taking the action, but for some reason, it's not working because you're not enjoying it. So enjoyment is usually the thing that we don't think about, or we think that it's maybe like accidental, or not everybody enjoys what they do. But I'm actually here to say, no, we get to enjoy what we do. It is absolutely, for me anyway, is a non-negotiable. I've made it a non-negotiable in my life, in my business, in my creativity, that if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm going to change it. Now, let me just distinguish between, it isn't the same as, the fear's coming up, shit, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I don't like this feeling, but I'm going to have to say fuck it and do it anyway. That's different. That's an aligned thing, and that's a slightly different energy. What I'm talking about is if you've got this kind of flat, this is just feels heavy. So this is about the enjoyment and the energy. Something about it feels heavy, right? It just feels a little bit like, it doesn't feel so good. So this is where you just get to sprinkle some magic on it in some way. It could be that you zhuzh up your practices around it, the order in which you do it. Maybe you change something. Maybe it is you drop a certain aspect. So let's just say, I'm going to use 3 examples. Let's just say you're trying to transform your health and fitness. We'll do health and fitness, relationships and business and creativity. So let's say health and fitness, you're doing all the things and you're working out and you're doing it, and it's moving. It's just you're not enjoying it. So this is where it's like, maybe you want to try and actually do a different exercise. Why do you have to do it in a gym, on a certain piece of equipment, in a certain format, at a certain time of day? Maybe for you, it's your form of exercise and health and fitness is to do a few weights or go jogging and then whack some music on and dance around your house and Zumba style, right? Move your body. It's putting the enjoyment factor into that. Love and relationships, right? You could do all the work, all the inner stuff. You get clear about who you want in a relationship, but then you force yourself to go out. You take the action, and then you go to these bars and clubs, let's say, before bullshit restrictions, and you go out but then you realize you don't even like going to these clubs. You don't like those kind of nightclubs or kind of places. Then why are you doing it? You don't have to meet someone that way. You could meet somebody in a coffee shop. I met my husband on Facebook, like a Facebook Messenger, friend request, in it came, and we met. So it wasn't like I had to go out there and find somebody and all of that. So it's just how to enjoy it. Same in your business, right? If you're doing something in your business or your creativity, are you enjoying, generally? And again, I'm not talking about the fear that is going to come up or the discomfort, but the fundamental level of enjoyment. So with my live streams, even though the fear came up and I used to panic and I had to get over myself so much, after I'd done the live stream and even during the live stream, I really enjoyed it. I loved sharing my message. And afterwards, I was really happy that I did it. So I knew it was an enjoyable thing. I knew my energy was backing it really. So this is where you just really give yourself permission, because if you don't enjoy it, what will happen is, especially if your soul is like mine, where it's we came here to have a good time. We did not come here to struggle and suffer. And maybe you've done that in your life, but it doesn't mean you've got to do it continuously in every area, right? So I made a vow to myself that I left the 9 to 5 legal world and I created my own business. I'm my own boss. I run my own company and set my own rules. Yeah, and what I did was I decided my hours. Like, I don't enjoy seeing clients on a Monday morning. I just figured that out. I used to do it because it was just habit. It was what everybody, the normal way to work. And I realized I really don't. I love clients. I love working with them. I love showing up with them and being in the space with them and like helping them transform. But I didn't like doing it on a Monday morning because for me, it was not enjoyable. And what was enjoyable was waking up, having breakfast with my husband, or just like thinking about how to fill myself up. Like how do I want to start my day? How do I want to set my intentions? And I love all the woo-woo stuff. Like, I'll journal and I'll meditate and I'll now I'm like channeling and I do a lot of inner stuff and I love it and I enjoy it, and there are certain things that I don't want to do. I don't just so really think about this is one of the areas that could be holding you back right now. What's your level of enjoyment? In fact, give it a rating right here, right now. 10, love it, magical, lit up. 0, flat, not enjoying it. And just check in and see where you are with it. So if you're not enjoying it, and then what you can do is, so if you've kind of written these out, like kind of 5 steps, you can go back. So when you're not enjoying something, you go back up to go, right, alignment. What would be aligned for me instead? Okay, great. So what are my thoughts saying? And do my beliefs back that up? Great. How do I feel? Yep, good. Okay, it's all on board. Am I taking the action? Great. Am I still enjoying it? Yep, keep going. No, I kind of outgrown it again. Back to alignment. So it's like almost like a roadmap that I use it. I kind of accidentally sort of created it just from, I was analyzing how have I made my transformations and what happens with my clients, the ones that really tap into themselves on that level and they get the best transformations versus some of the clients maybe that don't look at certain areas. And I kind of mapped it together and this is what I came up with. And it really it's something even now that I bring myself back to. So just before I want to just kind of leave you with a few thoughts, just for anybody watching that that you want assistance with this, because what I do is literally take you by the hand and take you through this. And what I'm really good at is just mapping out where I know exactly when I speak to somebody, it's like where you are, what's missing, what we need to look at, how you need to transform, because your transformation is going to look very different to your friend over there and that person over there. It's very unique to you and your soul. But this is brilliant because you're a unique individual. So I do have at the moment a 7-week private intensive with me. The doors are open now. I've got no set time yet to close it. So I'll just sort of feel out what feels right for me with how many people I'm working with. But yes, it's an opportunity for you to work with me for 7 weeks. Just a little note though, it's an intensive. So it's not like a 7-week where we just have like a session every week. Yes, we will do that, but it's an intensive. So it's only this particular service is going to be for you if you're a bit like me, impatient, you want to just get on with it, you want to go all in and you really want to like commit to an absolute transformation in your life. So just check out, I don't know if I can put the comment here, but you can always check out I might be able to, just check out the website, theawakerevolution.com /transformation now, or just go onto the website and you'll find it. But let's see if I can yeah, I'll just pop it in here if I can. I'm using a different software, so I'm not sure if you will see this, but let's try and then I know for next time. But it's, again, you can do this yourself. You absolutely can. I never share anything where I say you must work with me or you will be stuck forever. Let's see if that, yeah, you should be able to get that comment, but I'll check back later. You can do your own transformations, absolutely. But what I know as well, I've done many of them on my own. Long kind of hard road, but I've done it. But I've done the ones that I've had help with have just catapulted me quicker, more easily, more powerfully than had I have been able to do it on my own, because somebody else can see you from a different perspective, right? And also I channel and I can give you direct, very straightforward, very straight and honest guidance as to which areas you are most needing to look at. So I'm very much about like real, like not just shifts, like proper transformations. So check that out. If you're more for you, it's probably going to be more if you've done some level of working on yourself already, because then you'll just be ready to go for the 7 weeks. But if you're watching and you haven't done much work on yourself, but you really, really resonate with this intensive, once you've had a look, send me a message and let me know, and I'll have a chat with you anyway, just to make sure it's the right fit, because I don't do the hard sell, but I want to make sure that it's really, really going to work for you. So if you are like a first timer and you've just seen this, it might be that you're just here to fast track. So pop me a message if you're not sure anyway. But that's the 7-week intensive, and we just start whenever you're ready. And this is what we're going to do. I'll just naturally do it, but just to look and see which areas, and then we get right into all of it. Little note, if you've listened to this and you know that it's like you've ticked yes to all these areas, that is absolutely fine. That's okay. It's probably likely that you might need a few of these, or even tweaking of all of these aspects, because that's what's holding you back. So don't freak out. Don't think you're a hopeless case or anything like that. I've had aspects where when I've looked at this, it was all of them. Like I had to do the alignment, the mindset, full on emotional processing, healing parts of myself that were still being triggered. I had to take the action. I had to bring the enjoyment in, change my practices. Like I've done it. I did it with, best way to describe it is my recovery from illness. I use this kind of like aspects, and I kind of had to do a whole overview of everything. So there's no right or wrong. Don't worry if you know that there are a lot of areas that you need, because the strong thing about this is just understanding. That's half the battle. Once you understand what's holding you back, like especially when you know what you want and you still can't do it, and you still keep yourself stuck, and you still aren't where you want to be, just understand that there's nothing wrong with you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are a beautiful, powerful soul. It is simply there's a reason behind what you're doing and why you're doing it or not doing it. So this is not about you've got to heal yourself because you're broken. There might be some healing aspects. I definitely have, and I continue on my healing journey. That is absolutely fine. But we're really, what we're doing is integrating ourselves, because our souls are complete. Our higher selves know exactly what we're all about. We have a higher self who's already walked the path of everything that you want to be and do and have. And so there's nothing ever wrong with you, ever. Even if you're at home right now feeling stuck, pissed off because it's Friday and another week's gone by and you still haven't done what you said you were going to do. I really know that feeling. It's a bullshit feeling, but actually the feeling that you have is just fueling you and nudging you and pushing you, because your soul is ready to expand. And this is what I realized. Every time my head used to hit the pillow, and I just used to feel this frustration that I still wasn't living the life that I came here for. And I still have elements of that sometimes when I don't expand myself enough. And then now I know that it's just a sign to me. It's like, okay, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to do more. Not in a hustle way, but I'm ready to expand and be all of who I am. So if you're feeling the frustration, especially on a Friday, because I know exactly what that feels like, just understand that your soul is just so ready for you to take action or move to the next level, to break free of the old patterns, right? To really create the life that you came here for. You're absolutely here for this. And there's no reason on this earth why you shouldn't be able to create what you want. There is literally no reason. The good thing is it's all about you. It's your beliefs, your thoughts, your vibrational alignment, your energy, your emotions, your triggers. But at least it's all inside of you, and it really hasn't got anything to do with anything outside. That's just a program. That's just a belief. It's all within you. And I find that really comforting, and I hope you do too. So it's a reminder of your innate power, the fact that it's all within your hands. Yes, it's okay to ask for help. And I know very much in my own journey, I've had to have help from the outside. It's been very, very difficult to just go it alone. So I'm absolutely here for any of you who want to take the next level, really go all in with the 7-week intensive. But even if you're not, absolutely welcome here. And I hope that you can use these aspects that I shared today to really just have a little bit of time thinking about where in your life you need more attention. And then at least you know where your attention needs to go, right? And if anything else, you'll just know that you then, this is my big one, is that you then don't get caught up in buying the next course, buying the next program, buying the next thing. And that includes even stuff I offer, for people to just buy the thing thinking that will do it. But really, it's not the actual thing that you most need, right? So once you understand that, you just know what you need. And I think that's such an empowering place to be. So that's it for today. I hope that helped. Pop me any questions below, and especially if you're watching the replay as well, feel free to comment here, and I'd appreciate if you give me a like or a love, just to kind of help boost the video up a little bit, because the traction on the business page works a little bit differently. So it'd be really cool if any of you can, if you're watching, just give me a like or a love, just to help it be seen a little bit, or just pop a hello in the comments. Okay, so I'll love you and leave you. Happy Friday. Have a lovely evening or afternoon or whenever you're watching this. And I will probably be on this page. I'm probably going to schedule, I'm going to get better, with my visibility, to schedule, apart from my Awaken Lippy show on Wednesdays, I haven't really gone live here on this page very much. So I might make it a Friday thing. I quite like Fridays. But also, yeah, I'm in live, do live streams and other things in my group. So if you're not in my private group, which is where I kind of put more attention generally, it's more personal in there, come and join us. It's the Awake Revolution Soul team. So the Awake Revolution Soul team, just come and click there, join, just answer the 3 questions to get in. And I'm in there a couple of times a week, do live streams. There's like 41 live streams in there, all content, all like listed in a contents page. There's so much content in value in there. And I do channeled messages, card messages, all sorts of goodies. So come and join me in there if you want to connect more. Yes, and thank you for joining me, whoever joined me live, because I cannot see. But thank you very much. And yeah, I'll send you lots of love. And yeah, I will see you all again very soon. So have a great weekend.